Welcome to the Real Retirees of New Jersey, powered by Liberty Financial Group and Artemis Wealth Advisors. Randy and Peggy Fisher want to help you retire once and retire right. Get more information at therealretireesofnewjersey.com. They never throw the first punch, but they're always a knockout.
All right, hey, let's do it. Let's talk about the economy. Let's talk about retiring, and let's. This is the perfect way to start any podcast.
Why is that?
Especially with my friends Randy and Peggy Fisher. This is the Real Retirees of New Jersey podcast. I'm Jeff Miles.
The phone is ringing off the hook, baby.
That's when you know business is good right now. That is somebody calling you right now to ask, hey, should I move to Portugal?
Exactly.
Thanks for listening to the show. Randy, of course, the founder of Artemis Wealth Advisors, and Peggy Fisher, founder of Liberty Financial Group. You can find them online at libertyfingroupllc.com and retirewithartemis.com. There is an article, got this from Yahoo. It talks about boomers leaving America. They're retiring abroad because the rent is just too damn high here in the United States.
A lot of things that are too high.
Right? So you guys know that they just came out with a new inflation number. What was it, yesterday, day before? By the way, for a timestamp on this episode, today's August 15th, 2024. So yesterday or the day before, they came out with a new inflation number. Was it 2.9%? Is that right?
You believe that?
No. I say that because there's nothing in my life that has only gone up 2.9%.
Yeah.
And so I do wonder where the items are in my life that only went up 2.9%.
That's not happening.
Air went up more than 2.9%.
Yeah. But you know what's funny? I bet if you went and looked at the price of oxygen,
yeah.
You know, if you got to roll around the oxygen tank, it might be more than 2.9%. Probably is. I mean, it's in the medical field.
Have
you know
the
what
people
I
who do these numbers been to a grocery store within the last?
That's the thing, is that a lot of these numbers, and here's the thing too, when all of the the CPI numbers and whatnot, when they first started calculating these things, I don't know that the country was as divided regionally as it is now. And I'm talking about cost. I'm not talking about people's beliefs on, politics or religion or anything. I'm just talking about the cost of things, right?
Right.
I don't know that the country was as divided into regions near as much when those kinds of numbers first started coming in as it is now. Depending on where you live,
Idaho may be different than L.A. or New York City, right?
That is correct.
Yeah. I mean, if you were going to go get milk and eggs and I don't know, some boar's head ham.
Yeah.
Boise, Idaho, you're going to get it a lot cheaper than you are in, where you guys in New Jersey, New York.
Yeah. So we're in New
anywhere
Jersey.
In the Northeast.
16. I just went to the grocery store, bought my son some cold cuts, right? That's what we say, cold cuts.
Oh, yeah.
And it was $16.99 a pound of ham. What?
And you probably remember when it was $7 a pound, just like 2 years ago.
Or like $3.99 4 years ago.
Even far less than that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. It's insane. So people are now saying, screw this. Let's move somewhere else. Peggy, Randy, I was telling you guys how my wife and I were considering moving to Portugal just a few years ago for this very reason. And I'm going to ask this question. I can't wait to get your answer. It's kind of a rhetorical question, but I'm sure you have some sort of answer, or there will be a response of some kind. Is there a way to try to save these people from leaving? Do you guys remember the movie?
Why?
We're not leaving.
There's a lot of people.
Randy would tell them to go and get out as fast as they can.
All right,
He's ready to go.
You hit a nerve.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people I want to put on an airplane and send them out, and I'll pay for them to leave.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's a lot of people that need to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
But
which would help
a lot
inflation, by the way.
It would help a lot of things. It would help. It would help the mental state in the United States as well. But with that said, they can stay. Yeah. I'll leave. And I know a lot of clients that are actually thinking the same thing. And we've had clients that have actually left the United States. Now, they've actually done it under their own accord. And they said, hey, think about this. What is one of the best things when you're about to go on vacation, right? You're so looking forward to it. It's new. It's exciting. It's not ever the same, right? For the most part, it's not the same. Think about moving to a new place, new country. That's even why some people literally in certain states, they move out of the state and they go someplace else, right? Arizona, South Carolina, North Carolina. We've got people going to Delaware, Florida. I mean, the list goes on. Certain high tax states and high cost of living states, people don't want to be in. Right. So it almost goes hand in glove with what we're kind of talking here. Instead of actually leaving the state, you're leaving the entire continental United States and you're going someplace else. With that said, I mean, it's new, right? It's exciting. What's better than retiring? That's exciting too. It comes with a little anxiety, but if it's going to be exciting and it's all brand new and you got to hey, find a new clothing store, a new butcher, a new baker, a new candlestick maker, all those good things. It's every day is something else to do. Go outside, get in your car and go get lost. You ever do that? When you move someplace new, you just go and drive, right? And you're like, wow, I never saw that before.
Yeah.
Right? Same concept. It's exciting.
So it's cheaper to live abroad for a lot of people. It's new and exciting.
Sure.
It might be more beautiful, just depending on what,
weather, things like that. Yep.
Sure. Is there any hope for people who are retiring who, when they look at these options, is there any hope for them as far as moving forward? And I'm asking you to almost put your forecasting hat on, but not just from a financial perspective. I got to think a lot of these people are wanting to leave because they just don't think that things beyond just retirement, funding and stuff like that, but things, as you're supposed to be in the best time of your life, things may not be getting any better anytime soon here.
Yeah.
Well, think of some of the uncertainties of moving, right? Yeah. So, number one, it's a new place. Number two, probably number one out of everything is language barrier.
Yeah, big time.
I mean, if you're fluid in another language and where you're going, they speak that language, you're probably going to have less anxiety going there. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, if I went to Zimbabwe, I'm probably not going to speak the whatever language is there, right? I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but that's not even on the list. Zimbabwe. I just want to let everybody know that. So let's say Costa Rica. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, we've been to Costa Rica numerous times.
So expats is what they're calling these people. Expats. Yeah. They're called expats because it's short for expatriates.
Patriots.
Right? That's right.
Costa Rica is literally one of the most moved to places for expats of the United States.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's close.
Is a big reason.
It's still within the continent, right? So, I mean, if you did have to get back to the United States for whatever reason, it's a 4-hour flight for the most part, right?
Well, with languages too, there's cultural differences as well. Like depending on where you're going, United States is very set in their ways that we do things. And so can other countries, right? You can have very cultural differences going with that language. It's very hard. I mean, our son actually just went to, where did he just go, Randy, that he said he was in an airport.
Well, which country was he in the past 30 days?
So he was just,
5 or 6 of them.
He was just in Colombia, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
At an airport. Now this goes to the language problem.
Yeah.
He's at an airport. He didn't realize when in Spanish, because he doesn't know Spanish, that they changed his gate.
He missed his flight.
He missed his flight because he didn't understand when they came on there, and they said, because some people were still just sitting around. It was a smaller airport. And, there was he didn't realize when they came on and said in Spanish, so if you're in another country, and you don't know their language, that's just one of the crazy things, you don't know what's going on. Right.
Or
some of these places,
if you're the only person sitting at the gate, you probably would maybe ask a question. But
but it was a small airport, he said.
But to your point though, some of these different places, it's almost like they're kind of gearing up. Like Costa Rica, for example. My guess is that you've got a lot of stuff there that has been kind of Americanized, to where all the business that you have to take care of, and I'm talking like going to the grocery store or whatever it may be, you're going to find people that speak the same language, your language anyway, so that when you get there, it's a little easier. I'm sure that Costa Rica probably enjoys the fact that they got a lot of money coming into their country and whatnot. But when it comes to that next step after you've gotten past language barrier, culture differences, just the everyday life part, are there things you're going to miss here that you're not going to make up for in new experiences down there? And do you think it wears off at any point in time?
Well, see, when we were, prepping to talk about this, I was thinking of things like that. And Randy and I, fortunately in our lives, we have traveled to different places. I'll give you an example. I was in Austria. Wonderful things about it, right? you just talked about, like, how do you get around? They have every different kind of system there to get around. Nobody really even drives cars. It's a wonderful thing. Or walking. Everybody walks to wherever you got to go.
Right.
Things like going to a grocery store. You're not going to like grocery store. You're going to like the farmer's market to get fresh produce and fresh things, which is very different than how we do it here. Right. So just those little things, or even healthcare, for instance. We were driving in a car with somebody who lives there. Yeah. And what he was saying is they pay very high tax, okay? Very high tax, but included in that is healthcare, right?
Right.
But what he was telling us, his mother-in-law who had cancer was waiting 6 months to get a MRI, things like that. Now, we don't have that here. You want to get in and, you do pay for it. Yeah. But things like that, that was in their taxes. That was their healthcare. And you may have to wait months to get in to see somebody. But that was just things we were talking about to a local who was there in the car who says, yeah, it's great. Most of the time, if it is something like not cancer or something like that, you can get into a doctor pretty quickly. But for big things like that, they do pay for that, very big and high tax. But, there's always, a trade-off or something, right? Where here is we get into... I
was going to say, it's also if you can't travel back to the United States if you remain a citizen, right?
Yeah, right.
So, what I can't see, Peggy and I have even talked about this too. I do want to live outside the United States when I retire. Yeah. But one of the things we talk about is potentially, you're not even talking about giving up citizenship. If something did happen medically, I'd fly back here. It's
right.
And I'm sure there are other parts of the world that actually have excellent healthcare. Right. But do you trust the other parts of the world where we actually don't know what goes on? Probably not. I know I want to trust what I actually know. Am I going to go to, East Bumble, Knuckleheadville, United States, or am I going to go to a big city or a big place? If I needed eye exams, I'm going to go probably trying to find the best eye doctor. If I need oncology, I'm going to go find the best oncologist, right? As well as the language barrier wherever you are in that world. Even if you think you're pretty fluent, I don't really think you're going to get it down to the nitty gritty when they're talking about medical conditions and stuff like that. So with that said, just give you an example. If, and we have had conversations with people like this, and they said they'll go live someplace else. Are they going to live there 100% full time also? That's a different story. Yeah. You got these snowbirds in our neck of the woods that basically go from here to Arizona, Florida, Texas, Louisiana, South Carolina. Right. What's stopping you from saying, hey, I'm going to go to Costa Rica for 6 months and I'm going to come back to New Jersey for 6 months or Florida for 6 months, right? Believe it or not, I was just looking at a list here. The top 3 spots in the entire world to retire outside of the United States: Costa Rica, Portugal, Malta. Now, I haven't been to Portugal yet. We should be going shortly. Malta, I'd like to go there too. Each one of those, it's $1,500 to $2,000 a month to live comfortably. Now, again, I'll just throw this out there for you. If you take the average Social Security payment right now, the average recipient, you're 100% right, Peg.
Yep.
The average recipient receives $1,900 a month for Social Security payments, right?
So just that alone, you're living comfortably in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
You got it.
That's your living, you're eating, you're doing something. Now, in the state of New Jersey, I can tell you right now, $1,900, I don't know if that's getting you half of a room.
Here, man.
I don't even know.
You're on Medicaid. You're not even on Medicare. You're on Medicaid. Right. You're getting assistance with prescriptions and other coverages and food stamps and things like that. And listen, if everybody needs a hand up, that's fine. But the fact of the matter is we're talking about retirement now. And if you're at that point, some people that are in those scenarios, they're working throughout their retirement. But if you want to retire in your retirement and you didn't have oodles of money in order to live lavishly in the United States, someplace that you wanted to, you literally can go out and travel the world. How about this? How about you spend 6 months in Costa Rica and 6 months in Malta, or 6 months in Portugal and 6 months in Ecuador?
Not? Yeah.
Right. That's exactly it. As long as you're in, and Peggy talks about this, as long as you're in your go-go years, right?
Yeah,
then
we
talk about 3 sections: go-go, slow-go, no-go. Go-go. Hey, I'm pretty healthy. I can move around. I can do what I want to do. I can travel when I want to. I really have no restrictions, right? That's go-go. It gets to the point where your go-goes turns to slow-goes. Now, slow-goes is, hey, my wheels don't work right, or I got arthritis, or there's something wrong, or whatever it may be. And you're not as active as you used to, but you can still kind of get along. You can still live in those other places pretty good, right? The no-go years, then you kind of start to think about from a no-go scenario, hey, can I get back to the United States? I'll give you an example. My mom, she lived up here and she lived down in Florida. she got to the point where medically she literally could not fly. And that's in the continental United States, right? So, and there's a lot of people that are in that same category. If you have to go and visit a doctor someplace else and you know that you're medically unfit to travel, there's going to be restrictions as to where you can actually live or go.
Right.
So
True.
That's going to probably change some people's minds in the long haul. But like anything else, you think about this, wherever you move to, eventually you start to get used to the scenario, right? People that have actually, came to America with language barriers, and you see those stories, $50 to their name, they didn't even know how to read a street sign.
Right.
15 years later, they're getting along pretty damn good, right?
Sure.
And some of these people have turned into pretty wealthy individuals, business owners, and they're well-to-do, or they're excellent people in society these days. Sometimes you just got to get along with the getting along. And I think if you were to move to another country and you kind of burn the boats and said, hey, I'm not going back, you'll find a way to get everything done that way you were supposed to do, right?
But I think the best advice would be go on vacation, see it first.
Oh, yeah.
Check
absolutely.
it out and see if it's someplace that you think you could live, and live comfortably.
We ain't putting something in a pod and, rolling it across the seas without seeing it, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I think the other part for a lot of people is you brought this up earlier, Randy, and it's kind of like where are you able to have a dual citizenship if that's what you want to do? I believe the places that you mentioned offer that ability to be able to live in both places.
Yeah, they're not all or nothing. The visa allows that.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to throw this into this mix, and it's going to be sounding very dramatic, but I'm using it as an example for the other side of the extreme. Did you guys see where the Russian ballerina just got arrested for treason in Russia because she sent $52 or whatever it was to a Ukrainian support system or something like that? But she was living part-time here in the United States, training and out in LA. And then she was back in Russia to visit family and things like that, and still had citizenship there as well. And now she's been arrested for treason. I mean, I don't know what that penalty is, but I can't imagine it's something that is going to be comfortable for her.
I would think 19 years in prison at hard labor is where that's going.
I would say thank Joe Biden and Kamala Harris for that one, because that was called, we have another. You see, I can see Peggy in the camera.
Peggy's
She's giving me the old cut. Don't say anything. No. I'm tired of this garbage between this stuff. So here's the story. When you are basically going to be a pawn in a political system, and this person sent $50 to somewhere ever, and she went back to a socialist communist country, you can get locked up for whatever it is, but she's now become a pawn in the system, because she's going to be the next person that's on ABC, NBC, CBS that we need to go try to find out who we're going to swap some scumbag for, who's actually transporting nuclear material, and we're swapping it for some ballerina, ice skater. It's ridiculous. Or, if we're away on vacation, you're getting thrown in a white van taken away because you got ice cream at 2:00 in the morning, and you're in some goulash. And next thing you know, 16 years later, you're getting swapped out for somebody. Come on, this is ridiculous. You know, Randy, what I would say?
I always love. Yeah, go for it.
Look, the top 14 places that are on my computer screen right now, there's no communist place that's on the computer screen. So you
Russia's
don't go and retire in a communist country.
Anytime soon, Randy.
You're not going to North Korea to go retire. You know what I mean? You're not going to China.
I knew that if I got the most dramatic opposite side of this, then it would be absolutely something that you would that would really pique your interest to.
No, man, I'm fit to be tired now. Now you just hit a nerve. I could do these all day long now. All day long.
Jeff.
You're like Peggy. Peggy's like, well, way to go, Jeff. You got him going now. Now we're not going to be able to settle him down.
This is going to lead right in. This is going to lead perfectly right into the next one about how to pick a financial advisor, right? So
yes, exactly.
Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, because you are definitely going to want to click on the button for the next podcast.
Okay, there you go. What a great way to lead us into.
Do they call that a tease?
Yes, that was a very good tease. See, Randy, you're radio savvy. I love it. You know exactly how to set it up, and I'm waiting for the big swing for the home run on the next one. So, yeah.
Oh,
all right. We'll wrap this up with one final thought on this, and that is, if someone is coming to talk to you about the possibility of maybe wanting to live abroad in their retirement, I'm sure there may be questions as it pertains to how does my money transfer over there?
Sure.
What happens with something like Social Security? If I become a dual citizen, is my Social Security still fully in effect? Is that something that I still get to enjoy the benefits of? If I decide I want to move to Costa Rica, how do the taxes work whenever I'm moving to another country? And it pertains to the different buckets of where my retirement money is. These are all questions I'm sure many people might have when it comes to, if they decide that they want to move abroad, even part-time, just based off of, the rent's just too damn high.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that's a great number of questions in which you had there. And I would actually suggest this. It has to do with the professional or professionals in which you're dealing with. If they have the experience, number one, they have the knowledge, and they have the track record in order to get you from point A to point B, then I think you're working with the right person. You know, if I walked into somebody's office and this was the topic of, hey, I want to live abroad, you're probably not going to want to walk through a basic door of, and I'm not throwing any of these companies under the bus here, but a basic Merrill Lynch or Bank of America or Wells Fargo. I don't think you're going to get that type of qualified individual in which to talk to about, hey, how does my tax information, my money transfer over from one place to the other? Do I have any complications? How do these things work? I mean, honestly, do a little research, find out from financials advisors and ask those questions. Have you had any clients expatriate? Have you had any clients live overseas? Have you had any clients live on cruise ships? Have you had any clients pack up everything that they own and never come back? How did that all work out? We have. So, if those are things, come see us. I mean, or go see someone who has. So, you don't always have, you may listen to us and you don't always have to come to us, but seek out advice from people who know what the hell they're doing, because the worst advice to get is bad advice. And what people really are afraid of is not making a decision, but making the wrong decision.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And when it comes to making decisions, it's also a group effort for a lot of people because they're married or they've got family that are involved. And, wanting to make sure if I decide to tell my wife, hey, we're moving to Portugal, I better be damn sure that I know everything that's coming with that before I just, drop that on her and say, pack up and let's go. So, having the right people on your team.
Subscribe to Babbel.
Yeah. the language. Learn
the language.
App. Yeah,
start learning a language.
You guys might bring this up in one of your events, like a seminar or something like that, or something. Hey, for anybody who wants to move abroad, we got some information for you because you might be surprised. There might be people that would be like, hold on, this is information that might be worth talking to you about. So
or how not to become a prisoner.
yeah, that's the other side of the. You say that jokingly, Randy. That's happened. People have retired somewhere else and they have become a prisoner in that country.
I watch too many shows on Netflix.
Yeah, they're out there. Exactly. All right. Well, go to the websites and get more information. LibertyFinGroupLLC.com, retirewithartemis.com. If you have not subscribed to the podcast, please do so now. Get the notifications going too. Yeah, share it with everybody you know. If you've got somebody that's thinking about moving to, I don't know, not Russia, but anywhere else in the world, you may share the podcast with them so that they know what not to do or maybe what to do. But make sure you subscribe. Hit the notifications so you get news whenever we've got new content coming your way. Thank you so much for listening to The Real Retirees of New Jersey. I'm Jeff Miles, Randy Fisher, and Peggy Fisher. Thank you guys so much. This has been quite entertaining.
We are an independent financial services firm helping individuals create retirement strategies using a variety of financial and insurance products to custom suit their needs and objectives. Investment advisor services offered through Artemis Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Artemis Wealth Advisors is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Please consult with your attorney, accountant, and or tax advisor for advice concerning your particular circumstances. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Randolph A. Fisher, insurance license number 9616074, and Liberty Financial Group, LLC, and Peggy Fisher, national license number 189420003 and 5705833.